Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Western Reserve Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Melissa Potts.
Present.
Brian Benyo.
Present.
Richard Blevins.
Present.
Mark Hall.
Present.
Lisa Powell.
Present. I would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with Treasurer's recommendations. Number 1, it is recommended that the minutes of the February 12, 2015 regular meeting of the Western Reserve Local Board of Education be approved as mailed to each member in advance of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes. Number 2, it is recommended that the February 2015 financial reports be approved and the February listing of bills be approved as mailed to each member in advance of the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Number 3, it is recommended that the amended excess cost agreement between Mahoning County Educational Service Center and the Western Reserve Local School District be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Number 4, it is recommended that the treasurer be authorized to advance back monies from the Permanent Improvement Fund to the General Fund that were advanced at the end of fiscal year 2014.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
We'll move on to the superintendent's recommendations. Number 1, it is recommended that the February 19th and 20th, 2015 be approved as calamity days and the 2-hour delays be approved for February 24th and 27th, 2015 due to inclement weather conditions.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Number 2, it is recommended that the 2015-16 school calendar be approved.
I gave you a draft copy of that. That's one that I had done a lot of looking. It's all over the place in the county this year. I felt that looking all the way up to the year 2020, which is the next time Labor Day is as late as it will be this year, we would still be ending school in that range of June 5th to June 10th like we typically have, with parents knowing that Labor Day weekend is the end of summer, time for school to start. I felt it was best to just go ahead and continue with our traditional time. We will start with classes the Tuesday after Labor Day, pick up a day there, and we'll still end on June 10th, actually June 9th, and this year, this current school year, our last day of school is June 10th. So, with Christmas holidays being any range from a week to 2 weeks, depending on how that falls, looking at some of those things, we felt that that was basically the traditional school year and getting us pretty much the same time frame as we always have. And then in subsequent years, it will be earlier start based on Labor Day still. That way we continue that. Just felt that was the best way to go.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes. Number 3, it is recommended to renew the agreement with ACC ESS, the access for the district's internet and email service, application service including USAS, accounting systems, EMIS, student information system, voicemail, the phone services during the 2015-2016 school year at a cost estimated at $38,169.44.
Now, this is not the wireless that we have previously talked about. This is just our standard operating technology, our student data, the EMIS phone, the regular hardwired internet, payroll, all of that is through this system, through Access.
My whole world. We have to.
When we have a power failure, that's the brains of the system, and we don't know what to do when it's down. So.
Me hiding under
So
my
moved.
desk.
Second.
Mr. Benyo.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes.
Mrs. Powell.
Yes. It is recommended to accept Annie Houth Moore's letter of intent to return to Western Reserve for the 2015-16 school year.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyo?
Yes.
It is recommended that the 2015-16 interdistrict and intra-district open enrollment procedures for the Western Reserve Local School District be sent to the Ohio Department of Education to verify compliance with the Ohio Revised Code, the Ohio Administrative Code, and the State Board of Education rules.
Again, this is just a standard form that needs to be sent in every year. No changes to our open enrollment policy. Just every year has to be sent into Ohio Department of Ed for what our status is for those.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyo?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
It is recommended that the agreement between RKS Consulting and Commissioning Incorporated and Western Reserve Local School be renewed for the 2015 year at a cost of $5,815.87.
This is a service agreement we've done that started out with the geothermal, the company that did the geothermal there. That's probably the greatest service agreement we have. They're there as close as a phone call to answer any questions with heating and cooling. They come in, they do energy analysis. In fact, we've just submitted all of our gas and electric bills to them, and they're looking at some ways to even reduce those and increase the efficiency of our heating and cooling and air conditioning systems and the geothermal. So very, very good, very knowledgeable, and I think well worth the money to continue with that.
Increase over last year.
No, it's less because we part of a 2-year agreement. So moved. They've been very
I'll
good.
second it.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyo?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
It is recommended that the settlement received in the windmill lawsuit not be used to replace or rebuild the windmills. Instead, the funds will remain in the Permanent Improvement Fund for future permanent improvement needs.
So moved. Second.
One question. Yeah. So what's going on with the towers then?
I have that later, but I'll give you that now. I contacted Mike Fagan to get some specs on the steel structures, the turbines, the electric equipment. I'm going to get together with him. I just got that this week from him. I'm going to get together with him, and we're going to put together an ad and try to put that in some publications and advertise for sale, get an idea of what kind of interest we have on that, and then proceed from there. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks we have ads in some, I'll send it out to all the school districts. I'm thinking there's an email that goes to like all municipalities and something like that. We were talking about possibly an alternative energy publication, a one-ad type of thing, something like that, and see if there's interest and then go from that.
The turbines themselves?
Turbines, yeah. We would have 2 turbines that would be possibly used, and the 3 towers, and some of the power inverters that are in the one electronics room in the back there. So.
Is the teacher still interested? Wasn't someone interested in?
There was one gentleman who was interested, but it was pretty much he was just going to take them down and take them. And because it is public property and because it has a value that's over $25,000 probably, we should look to sell that legally as opposed to just giving it to somebody until we exhaust that resource, I guess.
Another option might be online auction.
Yeah, and that's a possibility too. I would think, looking at the interest we have, if we get some interest in the sales, and maybe not the price we're asking, but some interest, and look at that as well, which is a legal way to disperse of that property as well. Okay.
Okay. Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyo?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes. It is recommended to approve the agreement between Western Reserve Local Schools and HPS for 1-year period with dues at a cost of $700. The agreement will allow the Western Reserve Cafeteria to participate in HPS's school food purchasing program.
I believe Hope has a presentation to give to you, so we'll let her have the floor.
In your folder.
So basically what we want to enter into is an agreement with this nonprofit group. It's a purchasing organization, like a group purchasing organization. It goes out and deals with over 3,300 members, and they get the best prices for the most popular things that they sell. Basically, they have an agreement with General Foods, GFS, which is who I get 80% 90% of what comes into the cafeteria, and we sell back out to the kids through GFS. So basically what would happen is we would enter into an agreement with them. They have their agreement with GFS. I would still go on GFS as usual, enter my order every week as I always do, and just reap the rewards. It is basically it will save the district up from what we've done from the beginning of the school year until last month, approximately $13,000. And it's just as simple as I just told you, just go on there and do that. And I know it seems kind of hard to believe, but it's really very simple. And it's there's a 1 year, we have to pay every year, every fiscal year, $700 to be part of this, program, but that's really all. And as time goes on, I haven't really looked very deeply into the program other than the part that's going to affect me, or the kitchen, this cafeteria. But you can also purchase things like salt for winter, toilet paper, paper towels, garbage bags, anything that you buy in large quantities. And then you get a rebate twice a year for 1.25% of what you've spent. So not only are you saving money every time you order the things that you are already ordering, you're also getting a rebate for spending money with that. So that's something that I'm looking into. Right now I order all of the fruits and vegetables that don't come canned, everything fresh that gets sold to the kids every day. I have brought in every Monday from a place in Warren, that has been great. But GFS also carries those products. We also are in a contract with Pepsi for those types of things for vending, but in 2016 when that goes up, they have vending. So we could really, I would presume that we could order everything for the cafeteria through GFS other than the milk, because we're in a contract with that. The other thing is too, it will save an additional $550 by us just going on and clicking to make payments on the computer rather than sending an actual paper check. As long as we do that by a certain date, that's an additional 1%. So that comes into that savings as well. So that $13,000 is all of those things cumulative. And I think that it's really a no-brainer. I mean, we asked a lot of questions. The people were very forthcoming and are willing to come and talk to anyone who has further questions. But as far as I understand it, that's how the program works.
Basically, your buyer's group.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Should we look at boosters possibly taking advantage of that?
I don't know if they could do that through,
I mean,
the
they're not-
school?
not through the school.
Pricing.
So you can almost do your own.
Can't do it.
We already purchased through Gordon Food Service,
They
and
make
we've
the
been
orders.
getting rebates for 2 years now.
So let me tell you
So you're already
something. There
doing
is another.
Not exactly that, but same idea.
You have a list there of all the schools in this area that are involved.
I highlighted.
So over 80% of the schools that are in this area, including colleges, use this program. So I think that if you wanted to, so what I was going to say was 80%. So you're already on she is probably already buying things at a lower discount rate. We are purchasing things already at what you're not going and purchasing at, is basically what I'm saying. So whatever Boosters is probably doing, they're probably already getting a smaller rate. And you'll see all the big districts are on there, Campfield, Boardman, Offutown, the vocational schools, they're all on there. So it's really very simple, I think.
I mean, there's only one year.
Not a single thing. I mean, basically, it's like an icon on the screen, but I just verified that that thing falls under this umbrella, and you click it. I mean, they took my top things that I order every single month and ran it, and the savings was over $1,600 per month, just on the basic, and I'm ordering basically the same, we're on a 5-week cycle menu, so every week we're ordering the same thing. I mean, it's a great savings, and the cafeteria is doing phenomenal. I mean, last month, my kitchen report was over $52,000. I mean, we are really putting out some product.
Well, thanks for looking into
I think
that.
the kids are really,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Any way we can save
That's a good
money and
move.
put it back into the
Yeah.
kids, I think is a benefit to everyone.
Wow.
And I hope your kids like their school lunches. They're really trying.
Well, Hunter,
They're not losing
Yes,
any weight.
obviously.
Hunter's doing great.
They're not dropping out.
no, thank you for doing that. That's
Yes,
huge,
you're welcome.
really.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Benyo?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Halls?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
It is recommended that the retirement resignation for Mary Jane Van Ocker be accepted regretfully effective July 31st, 2015. Mary Jane has been with the Western Reserve School District for the past 26 years.
Mary
So
Jane
moved.
works in the treasurer's office, purchasing and does all that stuff. Has it down to a system.
Like a wall where you antenna how high can you switch it on?
So Second.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyon?
Yes.
It is recommended to approve Kevin Conway as an unpaid volunteer indoor track coach for the 2014-15 school year.
We have a handful of kids that were doing some indoor track, and it's not even an OHSAA affiliated, but there needs to be a board-approved coach for them to be in some of the meets, and I believe the meets are this weekend, actually, so...
They've been going
just-
on, I think.
Yeah, but I think this big one this might be a state meet that's
Okay.
going on,
Yeah.
and they need to be, they need to have this affiliation that the sponsor that's had a requirement of that, so just a volunteer coach for.
So moved. That's good.
Second. Second.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mr. Benyon?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
We're going to go off the addendum. It's Superintendent's recommendation. It is recommended that the agreement between DPI Information Systems and Western Reserve Local Schools for the wireless internet connectivity be approved, pending the approval of the E-rate funding at a cost of approximately $34,330.
I gave you a copy of two different sheets there and highlighted. One was Meraki and the other is Ruckus. And Chuck Sainer and I met with people from both of those companies, and we talked to them. The biggest difference is Meraki was offering the idea of putting wireless access points into every classroom. Ruckus said, you don't need that. Their wireless access points would be in the hall, serving 4 classrooms. The technology in this Ruckus wireless has antennas, and if the antennas on this side aren't getting used by wireless devices, they'll shift to the side that there's more demand. So he was very confident that those wireless points in the hall would meet our needs. We would only need 35 of those. The price was still cheaper, comparable. There's less annual license fees with the Ruckus wireless. Chuck Sainer and I felt that if for some reason some of the hallway there was too many devices being used and we had some issues, we could always then go and put some into classrooms as needed, and still would be a much cheaper cost than to...
Like almost half.
Yeah. Now that $30,000 is the total cost for the first year, and Chuck's working on right now the E-rate, which is federal rebate, which we're at about 60%. Now that doesn't stay every year, but for this year that would make up 60% of that initial cost to get that going. The optional support hours for the Ruckus, if you don't use those carry over to the next year, so we may not even need the 10 hours of support every year. So there's another $1,000 that potentially each year we might not be spending. So talking to some schools that have the Ruckus, we felt that was the best solution to proceed with, and that will give us pretty much state-of-the-art wireless capability throughout the whole building, and we're looking at one outdoor access point as well. So covers every part of the K-12 building and for the wireless access. We thought that was a pretty good rate.
Yeah, I thought it would be a lot more than that.
And again, that's pending approval of E-rate. If E-rate says they won't fund that, then that's something we'd have to revisit. But
So moved on that.
Second.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benyon?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes. It is recommended that Hannah Mayberry, Lee Hively, and Madeline Grove be hired as athletic workers.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Benyon?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Before you read this one, let me just explain. I wish there weren't so many people here today. I have to explain that I had a misunderstanding regarding our school days. And people were asking all the time, are we days or hours? Well, we're days, but we're well over the minimum number of hours, so we're fine. I was at a superintendent's meeting yesterday, and West Branch was talking about adding an hour onto each day for a while to make up their days. I'm thinking, why are they so... I know they closed a few more days than we did because it's wintertime in Ohio. We can get here. Long story short, along with all the explanation of how to calculate your hours, there's a little blip on the side that says collective bargaining agreement. If your collective bargaining agreement was approved before July 1st of 2014, you're on days. It doesn't matter what. So we're on days. We use one too many. So, oops, that's what I said. You ever have that feeling? You ever have that feeling when your stomach just like hits the floor and you're like, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
So, here's, and I don't know, I guess I'm not the only person that is aware of that, because I don't see the reason why your teaching contract has anything to do with your hours of instruction. I mean, I know teaching contract is so many days a year they're supposed to be teaching. Long story short, what I'd like to do is request the use of blizzard bags for one day. What our plan is the teachers will give to all the students lessons for one day's class time, which is our 6th day. We've used 6 calamity days, so we have one that we have to make up. Give them to the students the day before spring break. They have 2 weeks to get those done. They're graded assignments. That way we don't have to add an extra day in June. I'm not a big fan of that, but I think I thought we were fine, and we're not. I think it's a good solution. I talked to the Ohio Department of Ed today, and basically all we need to do is this resolution, which is why there are 8 parts to that, because it specifies how this is to be done and how they're to be distributed and that kind of stuff. And the resolution, I've already talked to Paul Henderson, the president of the Teachers Organization. He's already kind of put an email out pending approval. This is what we're going to do. So we've got the ball rolling, and just not to get the cart before the horse, but basically what we need is your approval on that. So hopefully that's my only one mess up this year. And we won't have another snow day, so. So if you want to read that, or whatever you want to read on it.
It is recommended that the following resolution to authorize the use of blizzard bags to replace excess calamities be approved. You guys want me to read these?
No. So moved. Second.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
It is recommended to approve agreements with local colleges as it applies to College Credit Plus for Western Reserve students.
What we have is, many of you have heard about the College Credit Plus. It's kind of a combination of the old post-secondary enrollment and the old dual credit. Now it's called College Credit Plus. The universities, we had a parent meeting last night with Kent State, YSU, and Eastern Gateway, presenting information on the options that are available. Basically what it is students can take college courses on the college campuses if they meet the criteria for admissions to that college. We have kind of a partnership with YSU, and I gave you all a list of the ones with the asterisk are the courses that we will be offering for the kids that are here to take those courses here at Western Reserve and get college credit staying here. There's also online options, and that's a cost to the school district when the kids choose to do that. So we've talked to them about scheduling, that type of thing. There are memorandums of agreement that we have with those schools. I currently have one from Kent State. We'll probably get one tomorrow from Eastern Gateway and YSU. They have to be in by March 13th, which is tomorrow. Actually, I think they have to turn them in by the 19th, but they wanted to get the sign off on those. So basically what this motion is asking is just simply for us to be able to sign off on those as we get them. Doesn't really make any commitment to us unless kids choose to go to that or participate at those schools. They meet the criteria for admission to that college, and then we get billed so much per semester hour, depending on what their rate is. Most of the colleges around here are going that base rate, which is $40 per semester hour for dual credit class or college credit plus classes here at the school. It's, I believe, $120 per semester hour if they take those classes on campus. We talked to parents last night and tried to emphasize to them that there's a lot of potential issues with that. We've had some cases where kids qualified to be admitted to the college, but they didn't pass some of the readiness tests. So they were taking English classes at the campus, but they had to come back here for math. Well, with us being a small school, we might have one period of that senior math class. It might work out fine fall semester. They schedule their spring semester classes, and all of a sudden the only English class they could get on campus is the same time as that math class they're in here. So there are some issues. Those that participate in extracurricular activities after school, fall semester may be fine. Spring semester they may find out they've got a 3 o'clock class, due to the scheduling. So there's a lot of things that aren't just as neat and tidy as they say. YSU says have a 17 ACT score and a 2.0 and you'll be admitted. But then they do the placement test and they may or may not qualify for some of those things. So there's a lot to it. We have to look at some things as well with graduation requirements and some of those things, prerequisites for classes. But basically what this recommendation is just to approve agreements with those colleges, which is pretty much just a standard thing. In some cases, if we don't have any kids taking advantage of that, then it's really null and void, but it's something that needs to be placed. It's just a 1 year. Every year it has to be redone.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Halls?
I'm awake.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking. I thought I had a question.
Okay.
The criteria for all 3 schools for kids to go,
The 3 colleges
Yeah,
currently,
3.
different.
they're all different.
Yeah. YSU is a 17 ACT and a 2.0. Kent, Maine, I think, is a 26 ACT and a 3.0 is their preferred.
Wow.
That's how they have it. That's their preferred. But I believe kids less than that have gotten into Kent-Salem. But that's where we've had issues with them not scoring high enough on the placement test for the math they might need or that kind of thing. So it's a lot more than just those basic admission requirements that throws a lot of different loops into it.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, between those two. And Eastern Gateway, I think, is kind of in the middle. I don't have any specifics in front of me on that. I think they're kind of in between YSU and Kent on that.
Okay. Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Benny?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Building and principal reports?
Well, good evening. We'll start with the elementary since I'm the only one you have and I'm going to all of them. So, we've had some good things going on. We started out the month with the 5th grade concert. They sounded great. They did. Sometimes, 5th grade band is but they're doing great. They did a beautiful job. We had a really nice night. This week, or next week, I'm sorry, I have 2 3rd graders who have taken it upon themselves to raise money. They want to donate money to the Tri Lakes Library. So they've raised a couple $100, and they are going to make a donation on the 18th at 4:30 to Tri Lakes Library. So they start very young, and we try to cultivate that spirit of giving and community service. I told you before, we made Have a Nice Day cards for Akron Children's. They were so excited because they got a letter back saying thank you for the Have a Nice Day card for Akron Children. So that's what we do sometimes during recess when it's kind of snowy and rainy. We do things like that. So that's going on. We had a lunch to honor our All-Ace students for 2-9 weeks, and they came. We're doing an incentive program at the elementary school. We just started it. I'll pass this around. And they like to collect anything. It could be monkeys, it could be ducks, it could be anything. So what we did is we started an incentive program, and these are little tokens. And they can earn tokens for different things. One is for being the student of the month. We have honor roll, all A's. We have most improved. We have if you learn your multiplication facts, we've got a multiplication fact rocket. And they just get the chain with their first one, and they earn them all year long. So that's kind of going to be that's going to be one of our incentive programs. It's really easy. They like it, and it's fun. Also, we have the Easter Bunny is coming to town April 2nd. He's hopping in with some candy, I think, for the kids. Asked if he could come, and here he comes. So he's coming to town. We have archery is going to start. That was a big, highly requested sport. And Steve Scott from On Target, he was just swamped this fall, so we couldn't do it. So we're going to have it starting on all the Mondays in April. So information will go home for On Target. The only thing is we're limited, so we can only have so many kids. He usually runs 2 sessions, one for middle school and one for elementary school on the same day. And then magic, they'll be taking magic classes. We've been doing magic. There are students that are in their 3rd magic class, so we have magicians abound in Western Reserve. So that's elementary and middle school too. So we'll do that again in April. We'll start April 30th. Camp is coming up. May 6th, we'll be leaving for camp. The seniors and the 5th graders. I thought it was a really good idea. I'm getting a little nervous now that we're getting a little closer. Taking the seniors and the 5th graders. But it'll be a fun thing. The seniors are their buddies. And so it's really fun. And the 5th graders are hard on their buddies because if they don't see them in a couple of days, they come and get me and they say, can you go tell our buddies we haven't seen them in a while? And I go, yes, one day we're going to have a buddy bash and we're just going to go find the buddies and bash them. But one thing Doug wanted me to talk about was testing, and I have it on mine too. I have to tell you that our students, this is round 1 we've done of testing, have worked so hard, and I got to proctor one of the math tests. And they're challenging, but I think that they know their stuff. I can't tell you how proud I was of the extended response answers that 4th graders gave. They worked for a solid, that day, 90 minutes. Solid. I mean, they worked and worked, and extended response answers weren't 1 or 2 sentences, they were paragraphs. It was, I don't think we can ask any more of them. They were wonderful. They were hard. The ones I saw were hard, but the kids worked really hard. One thing is it's funny. We're working with a computer. Part of the kids are working with computer, part are on paper pencil. They felt comfortable with the computer and they liked it. One of the things that it takes them a long time to type on the computer, they have something called an equations editor. So you just don't put 3 + 2 = 5. You have to use this pop-up screen, and you have to find the symbols that represent things. That was a little bit cumbersome, and we had them on it beforehand, but they maneuvered through it. The high school had more trouble with the equations editor, I think because they're used to calculators, and our kids were not used to calculators. So that made it a little bit easier. Some simple things with the computers that will glitch you is our multi-handicapped students, the ones that are in Mrs. Pipoli's class and Mrs. Hall's class, they have to also take tests. And a little different, that they have to input their answers. They couldn't input their answers. And so what we found out was one little box that was not checked on their rolls kept them from being able to input the answers. That's how tricky this system is. And so Danielle and Greg have really worked hard as the test coordinators, and anytime you can see them, it has been an overwhelming job for them. Because not only did they have to schedule our entire K-12 district, but we had snow days thrown in there. So they had makeup days. And then here came the flu. And we had the flu. So we had kids going home and out sick. And then they had to reschedule them. So it was an orchestra. They orchestrated it beautifully. It was calm. The teachers were calm, and it ran like clockwork. So it was good. And after I went to curriculum council today at the county and heard some of the nightmares they had, I'm very proud of our building and our district. So very, very proud. Doug wanted me to tell you that Taylor Wilson is our winter homecoming queen. Sean Gardner Now this is awesome because we haven't been in this very long. And if you look on here, Lowville has swept this until this year, and here came Western Reserve, first place in the bridge building contest. So I'll sit it up here so everyone can see that. We need to let them be proud of that.
Great.
Okay. And the same thing, thank you to Greg and Danielle and everybody for keeping it so calm. You know, the testing could be very, very, it can get kids upset, but everyone kept them calm, so it was good. And then we're going to have round 2 coming up soon. Yeah? So, nothing's stopping us, not snow, not testing, nothing, because we're from Western Reserve, right? Right. That's it.
Just a couple things to add. I've given you all a Race to the Top report. You can look at that at your leisure. That's kind of a summary. We're finishing up our 4th and final year of the Race to the Top, and there's some statistics and some information that was given to us on that, so I wanted to pass that along to you. The one letter I was going to mention, Mr. Garner in the physics class with the bridge building. Joyce Brooks, longtime county board member, huge advocate for public schools in Mahoning County and students, and just, you know, always willing to write a nice card anytime she acknowledges, and that's a letter she had sent to Sean and the kids for a nice job. There was a nice write-up in the paper on that. And I also included a copy of the letter from Akron Children's Hospital thanking the what grade was it that did the cards?
They were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders.
So a copy of that for you as well. Spoke with Dave Harris this week regarding our progress on the track resurfacing project, and he's putting some specs together and gave him a kind of a timeline that we'd like to get that going sometime between June 1st and August 1st, or yeah, June 1st and August 1st. And so he's putting that together. We'll be getting some bids on that and looking at that project as that comes up. We also got approval for 2 middle school courses, Career Tech Education, which are extra funding that comes with those courses, Construction Technology and Healthy Living. And what we're planning is to have all of the 8th graders take one of those as an elective class, and all of the 7th graders take the other one. So that basically 7th grade will take Healthy Living, 8th graders will all take Construction Technology. And then we still have some high school home ec classes that are vocational units that we get some additional funding for, as well as Jay Clark's Industrial Tech 1, 2, and 3 classes. So we've got trying to take advantage of anything we can get a little bit of extra funding for, and so we got those approved, and those will be on the schedule for next year. Our girls are playing in the regional semifinals tonight, unfortunately. We'd all love to be there, but it's one of those things that I know it's hard enough to try and pick a night when we can all get here to meet, let alone everything else. And with the volunteers that we're about to acknowledge, we just felt we'd keep it tonight and wish them well and go that route. Also, just to mention to you guys, our next scheduled meeting is second Thursday in April, is April 9th, which is during spring break. I don't know if that's an issue for anybody. Okay. Well, we can let me know if that is, and then we can see, because there are some things we have to do with some of the retirements and potentially rehire that we have to do in some time frames. So we'll have to kind of watch that.
Can we move it a week back?
Third week after is not good for me.
Well, just so you know, we'll look at that then. So, okay. And I think we're ready to acknowledge our volunteers.
Should we see if there's tower report here?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think Jerry left.
We have tower report,
I don't know if PTO wants to report.
We just want to let the board know that PTO did vote on it. We are funding Jump Start for next year. We'll get with Mary Jane, and we'll get the check to her, and we'll cover the Jump Start program. We have our big auction, Christy Abrams. We have that going on tomorrow, and Special Persons Week will be April 27th through May 1st. Agreed upon with Mrs. Varelli. We've had to move it for homecoming, is it?
Prom.
Prom. So they've changed that around. Otherwise, that's all we have to report.
I have to say, Christy has done a phenomenal job. That's a big undertaking, and just thank her a lot because that money supports our schools, all of them. And so thank you very much because she does get help, but she does a lot of it herself, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now we have some Red Apple Awards. I'm just going to call the names if you want to come up and you can give you your certificates.
I don't believe the first 5 are here.
Kevin Wyndham. And Jeff will get the certificates to, or they might come to next week. Daniel Wyndham. Dan Chelvis.
Chelvis.
Tim Kohler. Tracy Sin.
That was the paint crew that painted the football field for every game, junior high and high school. Pee-wees, they would spruce up the field for the Pee-wee games. Just come out there on Thursday, sometimes rain or shine, and get the field painted. Did a great job, and just one of those things that I think most of them, as you might expect, are probably up at the girls' basketball game supporting the girls' basketball team as well. But they did also, for the second year in a row, receive the Pioneer Paint Field of Excellence Award. 250 applicants, only 71 got that nationwide, and it's the second year in a row. So they, they do a heck of a job. They really do. And yeah, they do all the hash marks, the devils,
They're
the
awesome.
whole
They
bit.
are.
So,
Can we try to get a photo in the roundup and some recognition?
I think
for them?
so.
That's huge.
Yeah.
We should, yeah.
well, and a couple of them said we don't want to come to get acknowledged. That and that's a lot of times the way volunteers are sometimes too. But yeah, I think definitely, and that's what these certificates are from Pioneer Athletics, who is their business deals with turf and fields and that kind of thing. So in recognition of your commitment and dedication to athletic field maintenance for Western Reserve Schools Blue Devil Stadium football season.
That's great.
So yeah, we wanted to acknowledge them as well, but they were probably all up at the game. Mr. Chelvis is the one, if you've ever been to any of our girls' basketball games, has a blue hair transplant for the night of the game, and usually some face paint. About the only one during basketball season, but he sticks out. So
Bob Guyan.
Bob has been a real great addition to the football program. The team does well, the kids play hard, the coaches coach hard. Bob came on as Bob came on as a kind of a volunteer. Says, hey, I enjoy doing stuff with the equipment. He took the equipment room, the uniforms, he sorted them, he arranged them all.
He's the one that did it all?
Yes. He's here Friday mornings about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, what's the
Cowboy.
name?
Cowboy.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody knows you as. But I'm like, who's that?
Yeah, I didn't want to be that way with it. Probably Friday mornings, 8 o'clock in the morning, he's here. He starts putting the kids' uniforms out in their lockers. He just phenomenal job. That if it weren't for him, that would be something more that the coaches would need to do. And to be honest, probably wouldn't get done nearly as well or as efficiently or as organized. So it's a tremendous help, and I know Andy and all the coaches appreciate it. Jeff Martig does, and we all do. We just wanted to acknowledge you
And
for
as a
that.
mom of a player, they thought they were in the NFL.
Yeah, Benny,
Take pictures in her locker. Yeah.
those of you that haven't been in the locker room, you ever get an opportunity to get up here, about 4 o'clock on Friday and see what's been put together by a lot of people's efforts. And
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Great
You
job.
have really made a difference. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Steve Novicki.
Doc, again, same type of thing. He's here for the kids. Somebody gets hurt, he's helping them on the sidelines. He's here Saturday morning. I believe a time or two I've come up and let him in on a Sunday. to work with the kid, to provide some treatment, and just a truly valuable asset that we have that we're fortunate to have, because it's and you know, he never turns anybody away. It's not just football. You know, he's worked with some of the kids with basketball, and it's a plus. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Kay Bartow?
I don't think Kay's here. Jerry was here.
Jerry had to leave to go home.
Kay was walking a horse. So,
That's very important.
again, she was on the sidelines helping with taping, helping Doc in a lot of different ways, and you know, again, just another volunteer that's given up every Friday night to be here, and you know, that's home and away games, and you know, here helping out as needed, practice in 2-a-days and that type of stuff. So.
She doesn't just do the high school, she uses the Little Blue Dot.
Yeah, tremendous, and you know, and it's fortunate as a parent to have those kind of people to be able to trust that, you know, they're doing the right thing with the kids, and again, another great asset.
Ace Hardware?
Mr. Tolman's here. Ace Hardware, I tell you, they're Ed and Dave make regular treks down there, and always looking for some kind of hardware, and it's fortunate to have them close by. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Allison Huff?
Well, Allison has done our Roundup newsletter editor now for how many years?
Like 2.5 now.
2.5, 3 years. Great job. Thank you. She's an officer in several
Thank you, you're awesome.
PTO, music boosters,
She got the purple memo.
who knows what else. She got the purple memo. Just, you know, again, and that's why all of you are here tonight, just the volunteers that, a lot of things we wouldn't be able to do without them. Small folks.
Christy Abrams?
Christy is, as Debbie said, responsible for the PTO auction. It was such a huge fundraiser last year. All of PTO, thank you. All of PTO, you know, does a great job, and it's hard when you start to recognize or acknowledge some individuals that are part of groups.
Thanks.
But you know, I know last year she really took the bull by the horns for that auction and got a ton of donations, and doing the same thing this year. And if you're available tomorrow evening, it's a fun night to come to the auction. Auction starts at 6.
Doors open at 5, and the auction starts promptly at 6. So I hope to see all of you.
Yep. So it's a good time, a lot of nice things, and they did a great job last year. I'm sure they'll do a great job again. But Christy kind of took the bull by the horns on that. So.
And the Berlin Fire Department?
I don't know if anybody's here. I know they always help out, and you know, they're here for Fire Prevention Day. They come to the Halloween parties, Christmas parties, and all those kind of things. And you know, just another group. Yeah. So unfortunately, none of them are here, but we'll get in touch with them.
Don Duda?
Dawn and why don't you call the other one too?
And John Hino?
Dawn and John, we were fortunate to have their expertise in a very timely manner. You saw him hand me this. This was just some of the paperwork involved with the whole windmill process that we had, and certainly put me at ease with their expertise, their suggestions, their advice, and I think it came out you know, as good as could be expected with what we had, and certainly appreciate their time and effort in that. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Joseph Lane?
Mr. Lane's not here from Lane Funeral Homes, but he had made several donations toward bringing in some professional speakers for the kids, and again, you know, monetary donations that we probably wouldn't have those people come in, and a couple of, I think some of them were the former NFL players that come in, and in fact, I think one of them was doing push-ups with Hunter on his back, and so got everybody's attention, and again, you know, some neat things. So we wanted to acknowledge that. So.
Jeff Williams?
Another community member, so helpful with our snow removal process. We need salt. He's got it stockpiled at his house. We come, he gives us the price that he gets, which if any of you followed that whole fiasco this winter, the price of salt, just, treated us great. And you call him, hey, we need some salt. Okay, I'll be there at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Come get it. Rather than going to one of the depots and buying it. And, we pay Jeff for it, but at a much reduced cost. Basically, he gives it to us for what he pays for it. He has a snow removal business of his own. Just another graduate of Western Reserve that wants to continue to support the schools in the community, and very, very much appreciated because he's been a big help. Really has.
Country Pantry.
Okay, Peter's here. Country Pantry, again, local business that's very supportive anytime. Any needs for donations, for fundraisers, for help, greatly appreciated, and great to have those types of businesses. Thank you. And I understand you brought a treat or something?
Yeah, I just have we start the pizza programs, and I bring the pizza here, so please just try.
Well, when we're done, we'll have some refreshments. So thank you.
Rizzuto's Market.
I don't think anybody's here. Again, much the same way. Another place that anytime they're asked, they're supportive and always willing to help out, and with donations or discounts or whatever you need. So greatly appreciated.
Western Reserve Music Boosters.
Our last groups are 4 music groups, or 4 booster groups basically. Our music boosters, again, tremendous job. If you've not been to one of our concerts lately, one of our programs, they've come so far. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
With their support, thank you.
Twice in one.
With their support, Mr. Batcha has started a glee club. There's a jazz band, and a lot of these are not during the normal school day. Kids are staying after school to do it. Mr. Batcha, Ms. Schul, they're staying after school to help. Thank you. Thank you.
I went to the largest. They've been such supporters of the music program, and they just show it just by coming here, too. They've just been so wonderful. We really appreciate it.
The Western Reserve Athletic Boosters.
Same thing, another support group that just does phenomenal things, put on all the sports banquets for the kids every season, uniforms for all of the athletic events, and again, those kind of things that we would not be able to do without their help. So very much appreciated, and not only the PTO, thank you, not only the PTO auction tomorrow, but anytime any of these groups have fundraisers, we'd ask all of you to try to support them any way you can. I know Athletic Boosters has their Night at the Races, and that's a big event. PTO has the auction. Music Boosters does the fruit sale and some of those fundraisers. So anytime you can, that all goes back to the kids, and that's what it's all about. So thank you.
Music Boosters is starting to raise money for new uniforms.
Band
too.
uniforms, yes.
Yeah, new uniforms. Big undertaking. So if anybody wants to help.
The cost is about $30,000 for 100 uniforms, because we have to have them in ranging sizes in there. So we were like, we got to come up with some big fundraisers over the next year or two, just so we can.
We have some ideas.
Yeah, we have some ideas.
Yeah.
The Gridiron.
I believe most of them are at the game tonight as well. Again, a group that's been in existence for probably 8 years or so. Focus on football, but they're always willing, if we ask, to do anything for any group, any activity. Have done a tremendous amount of work on their own in the locker rooms, and willing to help out in any way, whether it's financially, whether it's purchasing things for the kids, supporting the kids. We had a couple instances with the football team going to some distance to travel to some football games. basically paid for a charter bus rather than, nothing wrong with our school buses, but to ride in one of those for a couple hours gets to be a little cramped up. So just those little things, and you know, much like everybody else, every little thing is huge, and we don't want to overlook those, and we don't want to offend anybody by trying missing to acknowledge that. So same kind of thing. The meals, provide a lot of meals for the kids, and you know, and another group I didn't even, not to miss, but the senior moms, I know, you know, feed these kids every Thursday night for pregame meals all season long, and you know, it's the hard part of doing this is you don't, oh geez, we left this group out or left that group out, so we'll get you next time.
We're part of it, we're.
Well, kind of, that's what I thought too, all within, so.
And the PTO, Western Reserve PTO.
PTOs, last but certainly not least, and again, you know, with the auction, they had the Winter Carnival here a couple weeks ago. They have their things they like to do, but they still consider the school schedule, and just like Mrs. Chittock mentioned, the special persons has always been the first week of May. Well, prom is the first week of May, and decorating, thank you, decorating in the reserve gym. If you've not been up to prom, they do a promenade they have for many years now. Really a neat thing. All the kids are dressed up, they're all here, and they announce their names, and great opportunity for pictures. And PTO is willing to say, hey, we'll adjust. You know, they've got the book fair at that same time. I'm sure a lot of calls were made, and just something as little as that. But they have all the room parties for the elementary kids. They've got COSI coming in June, I believe. That, you know, so that's going to be for the only K to 6 kids get to go to COSI, but just a lot of great things that they do. So.
I might just show up.
Yeah, testing snacks, just a ton of things. So again, I'm sure on behalf of everybody here, we appreciate everything that everybody does, and hope you will continue your support of the schools. And just wanted to recognize you all for that tonight, and certainly when we conclude the meeting here shortly, help yourself to refreshments and pizza and coffee and drinks. So
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Potts? Yes. Mrs. House?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Mr. Levin?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
you're not going to be here at all tomorrow.
Comic Force.